Hi guys, my name is Dharamjan. Welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'll be talking about Ielts, which is the abbreviation for International English Language Testing System. Ielts is a preliminary requirement for getting into many courses. Whenever you go for foreign education, you need Ielts. It's basically proficiency, English proficiency test, which you need to clear for getting admission into different colleges or universities. Ielts is basically 2 or 45-minute exam divided into 4 parts. These are not in any particular order: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. So the listening part, it's basically talking about the listening part. It's the conversation between two or more people. Believe me, guys, this is the most easiest and the most scoring part of the IELTS exam. And you have to just listen to a conversation between two people and you write down the answers. That's it. For example, one person may ask another person that, "What's your address?" And the other person may reply that it's 102 Brooklyn Street, something like that. So you have to clearly understand the answer, the address, which he speaks, and that the address would be your answer in the answer sheet. So now talking about you might be thinking that what if the spellings go wrong? The spellings of the basic words won't be pronounced, but the words which you think are quite difficult bit, they'll be spoken word by word. Say Brooklyn. So words like this will be spoken if you think they are difficult, but the very general words which we use on routine basis, they won't be spoken like this. So listening is the most easiest part. Just pay attention, stay alert in your IELTS exam, and you should get at least eight and above in this 8 and above band in this part of the IELTS exam. So number two is the speaking part. So in speaking part, there will be an IELTS representative. Your answers would be recorded. So it's an interaction instead of a monologue thing. It may last from 10 to 15 minutes. So what's there is that the interviewer will basically try to open up, like starting with the questions like what's your name, what's your background, where your parents, where you're from, and what you want to do, why you're doing IELTS, etc., etc. So this part may last for say 5 to 6 minutes, and then there are two more parts in which you might be given topics. You'll be provided material like pen and paper or pencil and paper by the invigilator, and you can jot down your points. You may be given a bracket of 30 to 60 seconds on a particular topic. So write down your important points, and then you have to speak with the to the invigilator on that topic. It will be an interaction because whenever you're speaking, the invigilator will ask you to, it may counter back you with certain questions. Important instruction I think I can give in this thing is that uh, just be confident, just be clear, what you are speaking, just be concise, clear, and be confident. Don't get worried. What if I say something wrong? The main thing which they check is your confidence. So you should continue speaking until you're stopped by them. You should not self-stop. Okay, that's it. I'm done with it. That's all what I have to say. This thing is not going to work. You have to continuously speak until they say, okay, your time is over. So you have to continuously speak. Practice this thing with your family members, your relatives, whom you think you are comfortable with, because this thing requires practice. So practice it. The third one is writing section. So in writing section it has two questions. The first one is 150 word question. The second one is 250 words. I think I'm sure about 250, but the first one I think it's 100 or 150. I have to check it. Um, so you'll be given two questions, and they're going to be a situations, or they may be a graphical presentation. You have to interpret the data, something like that. One thing should be you should keep in mind is that never bring your personal interest in these topics. What you think, it doesn't matter. You have to stick to the situation. So this is a mistake which I used to do when I was doing my sample test. So don't bring your personal point of view unless until it is asked in the questions. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Unless until that is required. Otherwise, you know, stick to the situation, such as um, I was given a question whereby the one question which I remember was there was a bar graph showing the number of hours worked by men, the number of hours worked by women over last decade. So every year, so what data and how much time each of them were having for leisure, etc. So basically, all I had to do was jot the data. It has to be data interpretation. It shouldn't be like this. Oh, it shouldn't be like this that. So in this year, the women are working more than men. So this it signifies women empowerment, or the men are not getting job or something like that. It shouldn't be like that. It should be just clear data interpretation. I think this year it was this much. These many hours were for leisure with the women, whereas as compared to the previous year, which were more or less. So just stick to the data. Don't bring your personal interest, your personal points in the data interpretation. So we are done with the speaking one, we are done with the listening one and writing. The last but not the least is reading one. The reading part where in which it's kind of comprehension passage. So I think there are 3 to 4 comprehension passages which we have to answer. Important thing to notice in this section is that uh, stay, see the clock, see the time. So basically students miss out their questions in the reading part. So different students have their different strategies for solving the reading sections. Like they may either read the full entire passage and then go into the questions, or they may first directly go into the questions and then look for their answers. So it's clearly your choice. I won't give any suggestion on that. Do what you're comfortable with, but it should not waste your time. That's it. If you think you're not able to find a solution to a particular question, so try to circle it out with the pencil and then move on, so that you don't waste your time on a single question and still having 2 or 3 comprehension passages yet to be done. So first do them and then come back. um, so yeah guys, I'll link the link below to the all the information for IELTS, like how to register, how to prepare. So if you're not taking coaching, the registration fee I think is around 12,500, 12,600, something like that. That will be also mentioned in the link. Do check the link, it is going to be very helpful for those who are thinking or planning to do IELTS. It will be also helpful for those who are not taking any coaching for IELTS and are doing preparing by themselves. So I went, I used to think that IELTS is a big thing, but it's basically not. You just have to be very confident about yourself, and you should know where you stand. One thing which I want to give, one advice is that for those who are going for coaching, and not also going for coaching, one thing I should give one advice is that try to give sample tests. For those who are not going for coaching, you will prepare from the sample tests. Those sample tests will help you to basically prepare and know where you stand. But be sure that you're giving sample tests like you're giving a real exams. It shouldn't be like okay, I'm done with this part, I'm very confident about this part, and would practice this. If you're doing it, be justify the test, justify your sample test. And for those who are going for coaching, um, one thing is, you should, what you do before starting your coaching, or who are already in the coaching, well and good, but who are planning to start their coaching, you guys do one thing: go to your coaching centers, the reputed ones in your city, and ask them if they have the facility to give you sample tests. So take one sample test, see how much you score. Because I went for a sample test. I went for the coaching, but they said you don't take coaching. We think you can easily do it in 3 or 4 sample tests. Why did you give a sample test? I gave sample test. I got band of 6.5 in my first sample test. And they said you shouldn't take coaching. The coaching center themselves told me that you should not take coaching. You go for the sample test. I thought the sample is going to be expensive, something kind of big, but those people were genuinely helping me. So I didn't take coaching. I just gave 4 days, 2 IELTS, and that's it. I had my exam on 25th of November, if I think I'm right, and I prepared from 19th to 23rd. So 19th November, 20, 21, 22, and 23. No. So 19 to 22. So 4 days. I gave my this no 5 days. Let me be, yeah, 5 days. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 5 days. So I gave 5 sample tests. They told me 4, but I just want to be more confident. I gave the fifth one, and in the first one I got 6.5, which was to decide whether I should go for coaching or not. and after that I got bands between 7 to 8 and also 8.5 and 1. My overall score was 7.5. I could have gone 8. I was I don't know why. I think I kind of messed up in the listening section, or maybe got too overconfident that in that section. Um, but otherwise it was great. 7.5 is not a good score. When I told them after giving my exam I got 7.5, I was expecting it. They said don't worry, 7.5 is a great score. So that's that's the advice which I think I would give you, that um, go for the sample test. See if you are, you know, if you really require coaching, if you can save your time and money both, because coachings are not like very cheap, they're expensive. The registration itself costs 12,000 something, and then over and above, if you go for coaching, you may land up somewhere near to 20,000, and maybe most probably more than that. So try to save your money, save your time for coaching. Go for the sample test. You might go for 10 sample tests, you might go for 5 sample tests, depending on your requirements. So just look out for sample tests. Go for reputed coaching centers. Google the coaching centers, the IELTS coaching centers in your city. Need not go from one station to another, one city to another just for IELTS. See if you really require coaching, or read the reviews about the coaching center which you're planning to join. um, um, and if you really think you need the coaching, go for it. But at the end of the coaching, try to give sample test, because the sample test will only give you a confidence for the exams. So sample tests are must. If you're going for coaching, not going for coaching, do sample tests. And do check out the link, guys. So that's wrap. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.